Hello everyone and welcome to this video tutorial on how to use Zoom. Now for the uninitiated, Zoom is a powerful feature-rich video conferencing application which allows you to chat, host video and audio meetings and also collaborate on files and documents with other meeting participants online. It allows you to recreate the in-person meeting experience in an online environment, and it's particularly useful if you have team members working remotely or working from home. Now, not surprisingly, given the current circumstances, the demand for Zoom training has increased greatly, and we're seeing many people who maybe haven't had to work online in this way before needing a little bit of additional assistance, and that is exactly what this video is intended for. Now, this is a basic tutorial using the free version of Zoom that will walk you through the fundamentals and give you enough knowledge to feel confident the next time you attend or host a Zoom meeting. Now, before we jump into the live demo, let's explore some of the features of Zoom. So the most important aspect of Zoom, especially at the moment, is the video and audio meeting facility. And what this will do is it will allow you to initiate on-demand video and audio calls, and with the free version you can have up to 100 participants. You can also schedule audio and video meetings for a future date and invite participants to join, and you can schedule meetings more efficiently directly from your Outlook or Gmail account. And you can also very easily join meetings using a meeting ID. You also have the ability in Zoom to record your meetings for playback later. And this is particularly useful if maybe someone was unable to attend the meeting, or even if any of the participants want to review what was discussed in the meeting. So if you have a free Zoom account, you can record a meeting and you can save it to your local drive. Whereas if you have a paid Zoom account, you can save it to the cloud and send it out to all meeting participants. There's also a chat feature available in Zoom, which allows the host to speak to all meeting participants, or alternatively, have a private chat with any participant of the call. And again, this can be really useful if maybe someone is struggling with their audio, as it gives you an alternative communication channel to administer any help. And finally, there are numerous ways to collaborate within Zoom. So whilst you're in a meeting, you can share your screen so that all meeting participants can see whatever file or document you have open, which makes it super easy to collaborate and share ideas. And all of these things I've just shown you, we're going to go through in the demo. But before we get to that, a really important point. You want to make sure you set yourself up for success. Now, in general, what I've found when I've used webinar software is that the sticking point with most people, if anyone's going to have any problems, it's usually with the audio or the video. So people not being able to hear properly, or maybe people not being able to see the video. So it's really important that you just run through a very basic audio and video checklist before you jump into your Zoom meeting. Now, the most important thing here is to make sure that you are in a quiet environment. And I say that because with so many of us working from home at the moment, sometimes life can get a little bit chaotic. But if possible, make sure you are in a room on your own, or at least somewhere that's quiet so that there's no background noise, which is going to distract you or the host of the meeting. Now, this sounds really basic, but you would be amazed at how many people forget to do this. So ensure that the sound on your computer is not muted. So you might just want to press the mute button just to check mute is turned off, and also make sure you have your volume at a sufficient level so that you can hear everybody and you can be heard. Again, if you have a headset plugged into your PC or into your laptop, make sure that that headset volume is not muted. I know that there are lots of headsets you can buy out there which have their own volume controls on them. And I've been a victim of this myself in the past, where I've had my PC volume has been turned up, but I've actually turned off the volume on my headset accidentally. So that's another little thing to check if you have a headset with volume controls. Now, video conferencing obviously works best if you're using an inbuilt webcam. And as long as you have your webcam selected in the Zoom settings, what I'm going to show you in the demo, then it should kick in automatically when you start a video call. However, if you don't have an inbuilt webcam and you're using something like an external webcam, just make sure that it is connected up correctly and turned on. And finally, really important, test your microphone and audio before jumping into your Zoom meeting. And the good thing about Zoom is it does have an area where you can test your microphone and your audio. And again, I'm going to show you where that's located as we go through the demo. So really important just to check those vital settings before you jump into the meeting to ensure you have as few problems as possible. So with all that said, let's jump into our Zoom demo. So the first thing that you want to do is just open up a web browser of your choice, and in this case I'm using Google Chrome, and jump across to the website zoom.us. And that's going to bring you to this home page. Now, before we actually log into Zoom, I'm just quickly going to jump across to the plans and pricing link at the top here, just so you can understand the different options that you have with regards to Zoom. Now, in this tutorial today, I'm just going to be using the free version, but you can see that there are a number of other different versions. So you have Pro, Business, and Enterprise, and they're all varying different costs per month depending on which one you select. Now, for what we're doing today, the free version is absolutely fine. And you can see there you can host up to 100 participants. You can have unlimited one-to-one meetings, but there is a 40-minute limit on group meetings. And you'll see as you look through the features of some of these other packages, then you have more and more features with each one. Now, more than likely, if you're using this at your organization, they already have a nice package in place for you. But as I said, in this demonstration, we're just going to use the free version. So the first thing we want to do is we want to either sign in or sign up, depending on if you already have an account. Now, I already do have an account, so I'm just going to click on sign in. And I'm going to be using my Google account to sign in. And you can see underneath we have sign in with Google or sign in with Facebook. Now again, if you're working at an organization, it might be that when you've signed up, you've used your work email address. That's absolutely fine. And all you need to do is just pop your email address and your password into the box. But I'm going to say sign in with Google. I'm going to select my Google account because I do have a few. And it jumps me straight into the Zoom home screen. Now, let's just understand what we're looking at on this screen. On the left-hand side, we have a pane of different options. And currently, the one I have selected is meetings. And then in the middle, it's showing me any upcoming meetings that I have, any previous meetings, and you can see I have one in there for yesterday. I have a link to my personal meeting room, which I'll talk about in a moment. And then we have meeting templates. So you can create your own meeting templates based on meetings that you've had previously. Now, when it comes to meetings, you can either host a meeting or you can join a meeting. So let's deal with hosting a meeting first of all. Now, when it comes to hosting, again, there are two different kinds of meetings that you can do. You can schedule a meeting. So it might be that I want to schedule a meeting for tomorrow or next week or some date in the future. Or alternatively, I might want to just quickly run an ad hoc meeting on the fly. So I might be having a conversation with a couple of my work colleagues via email or chat. And we might decide that it's going to work out better if we all just quickly jump into Zoom to discuss whatever the topic is. So let's deal with an ad hoc meeting first of all. You'll see in the top right-hand corner of the screen, we have a host a meeting drop-down. And you have three different choices in here. You can host a meeting with the video off. So if you or your participants are a little bit camera shy or maybe not quite video ready, then you can just have video off where you can just hear the audio. Alternatively, you can host it with video on, or you can do a screen share only. So you won't get video or audio, but if you just maybe want to share a spreadsheet with someone or show someone a document, then you could choose to screen share only. Now, I am feeling a bit camera shy today, but nevertheless, we're going to go for with video on. Now you're going to get this screen, so you can see underneath it says, please click Open Zoom Meetings if you see the system dialog. So you can see that I have this little dialog box pop up, which is going to allow me just to open Zoom. Now, if you don't see this dialog box, then what you'll need to do is click this link just here to download and run Zoom. But in this case, I'm fine just to click on Open Zoom. So my video is on, and at the moment all you can see is me because I'm the only one in this meeting. I haven't invited any participants yet. And you can see that big box there currently obscuring my face and my 13-day quarantine hair, thank goodness, which is giving me a couple of options. I can join with computer audio so that everybody on this call can hear me, or I can do a test of my speaker and microphone. Now, if this is the first time that you're using Zoom, I would definitely recommend running a test of your speaker and microphone just to make sure that everything's working okay prior to joining the meeting. Now, I do these all of the time, so I'm pretty confident that everything works. I'm just going to say join with computer audio. And there we go. Hi everyone, nice to see you. As I hover over this screen, you'll also see that we have numerous different options popping up underneath. And these are all of the in-call options, so things that we can do whilst we're on this call. So let's just explore some of these before we invite another participant, which is very exciting. So the first one we have down here is the mute button. And you'll see that there is also a keyboard shortcut for that. So if you're someone who really likes working with keyboard shortcuts, the shortcut there is Alt-A. And by muting this, it just means that you're going to mute your audio. So again, sometimes I like to do this if somebody is training something and there's no need for me to speak at that particular time, just to cut down on the amount of background noise that can sometimes be quite a distraction for the person who's speaking. I will mute my microphone. So you just mute it by clicking and then clicking again to unmute. Now you'll see there's a little up arrow there. So this opens up a whole host of options with regards to your microphone. So again, you can adjust which microphone you're using. So I have a couple of different microphones there. You can set the speakers that you're using. So a lot of the time that'll be the speakers that are contained within your laptop or your PC. And you also have access to that test speaker and microphone option as well. So don't forget that you have those little options under that drop down or drop up arrow, I should say. The next option along is stop video. So if you want to stop showing your face, you can very simply stop the video, and that will just then show the profile picture attached to whichever email account you're using. So I'm using my personal Gmail account, and that is the picture that you see. If I start video again, you can see me back here again. And once again, we have a drop up arrow where we have some video settings. Now, this is kind of just a little bit of fun. There is a setting in here called Choose Virtual Background, and these always make me laugh. So I just want to show you because this is sort of kind of funny. I don't know if you would ever use these, but it jumps you into your settings and you can choose a different background if you want. So maybe if you want to obscure your background, maybe if you're at home and there's a whole load of mess behind you or something like that, you could choose one of these backgrounds. Now, sometimes they aren't the greatest, but I'll just show you. I'm going to pretend that I am currently on a beach. So there we go. I am suddenly transported to the beach. That would be nice, wouldn't it? So you have a few different virtual backgrounds in there. You may find them silly, but they can be quite amusing, and they can also obscure anything you don't want to see in the background. Now I'm going to switch back to none, and I'm going to close this screen down. Now the next option we have here is to invite. So currently I'm sitting here with no friends to talk to, just talking to you guys. So I might want to drag somebody else into this meeting. And I think the unfortunate person today who's being dragged into this tutorial with me is Mr. Adam Lacey, the man, the legend. We're going to click the invite button and we're going to invite him along. Now in here we have a couple of different options again. I could choose to copy the URL of this meeting and I could then pop that into a chat window, or I could send it via email. I could choose to copy the invitation, which is going to give all the meeting details as well. Or I can just choose my email service to send an invitation. So I use Gmail, so I'm going to select Gmail. it opens up a new mail for me and it lists all of those Zoom meeting details. So there we have the direct link to the meeting ID, and the password. So all you need to do is just address that to whoever it is you're inviting to this meeting. And then I'm just going to send that meeting invite out to Adam. And there we go, like clockwork, there he is. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Debs, how are you?
I'm not too bad. How are you? Are you enjoying life in quarantine?
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
From the family.
Exactly. So we're doing this Zoom tutorial. So now that Adam has joined this call, the other option that you have here is to manage your participants. So if we click the Manage Participants, you'll see that we get this pane pop out at the side, and you can see both myself and Adam listed there. You can also see my little microphone going a little bit crazy because it's picking up my voice. Now, if I wanted to mute Adam, now I wouldn't say that I do want to mute Adam. I don't want to shut him up, but if I did want to shut him up, I would just click mute on his microphone and then I can't hear anything that he's saying, as you can see there. Now, I would say if you do have a lot of people on your meeting, sometimes it is quite a good idea to mute all of the microphones, and you'll see that you have a button at the bottom that says mute all. What you'll find is that if you have quite a few people on this call and everybody's talking or there's background noise, that can be really distracting for the person who's trying to speak. So quite often when I'm in a meeting, I will mute my microphone just so they're not getting any background noise from myself. So let's unmute Adam. Let's let him back to the party. And what you'll also see at the bottom is there is a more drop down. So that will allow you to customize some further options. So if you want to mute all participants on entry, you can do that as well. And you've also got some options there for allowing participants to control their own microphones. So have a play around with those, see what suits you best for your style of meeting. Now, in order to get rid of this participants pane, we're just going to click on the Manage Participants button again, and it disappears. Now, the next option that you have is a really useful little option, and that is the Share Screen option. So quite often, again, if you're in a meeting with one or more people, you'll want to be sharing documents, spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, all things like that. And that is what you can do underneath this Share Screen option. So we're just covering up Adam's face for a moment there. And you have a few different options in here. You can choose to share any of the windows that you've got open. So you can see here it's showing me everything that I have open on my desktop. And that's fine if you just want to show one application. But if you want to switch between a few things, I normally go for the Share Entire Screen option. So if I'm switching from an Excel spreadsheet to a PowerPoint, maybe to an email, something along those lines, all of the meeting participants can see whatever I see. So I'm going to share my screen with Adam, and I'm going to click on Share. And you can see that we're now minimized down, and hopefully Adam can see my screen now. And I'm just going to pull up a spreadsheet. Can you see that spreadsheet, Adam?
I can see that spreadsheet.
You can see that spreadsheet.
Yeah, a rundown of our upcoming Microsoft Teams course.
Exactly. I thought that was quite appropriate to put that up on the screen. We are doing a Teams course, FYI. So this is the beginnings of that, which we're going to actually be discussing in a moment. So really very simple to share files with other participants. Now, when you want to stop sharing, you'll see right at the top of the screen, it is quite small, you have a red Stop Share button. And again, as I hover over that, you'll see that there is a keyboard shortcut. So if you're a keyboard shortcut fanatic, Alt+S will stop sharing. And we are back to how we were previously. So super simple to share documents. Another thing you can do is you can utilize the chat panel when you're in a meeting as well. So let's click on chat, Alt+H, keyboard shortcut, and we now have a group chat. Now you can select who you're sending your messages to. So you can see here it says everyone in meeting, which is just me and Adam, or I can send directly to just Adam. So that's going to be useful if you have a lot of people on your call. So I'm just going to send, hello, Adam. There we go. Hopefully he should get that come through. Got some two-finger typing going on. There we go. So very, very simple. I'm sure we're all used to using chat by now. And again, just to close down that panel, I'm going to click on the chat button. Now I'm going to let Adam go in a moment because he is a very busy man and I don't want to keep him on this call for longer than needs be. But the final option I want to show you in here is the record option. And again, a super important feature if you want to replay your meetings. So from my perspective, I do a lot of training online and sometimes I use Zoom. And the people on the call sometimes like to go back through that training. So it really helps if I've recorded that meeting or that call. So if you do want to record, you have a record button down here, keyboard shortcut Alt+R. And if I just click record, so you'll see in the top left-hand corner, it says recording. So it's currently recording everything that we're doing here. And this meeting saves into your Zoom account. So you're going to be able to find and retrieve this meeting from your Zoom account after you've finished. And I'm going to go back and show you that in a moment where you can retrieve these recordings from. Now, if you want to stop the recording, you just click on the stop recording button, keyboard shortcut Alt+R. And you'll see I've got a message in the top corner that says the recording file will be converted to an MP4 and saved into Zoom. So now what I want to cover is just the different ways that you can view the participants who are in your meeting. And if any of you out there are wondering why we look slightly different, it's because we have had to edit this video. And so we're not wearing the same clothes. It's a different day. So for continuity reasons, I just thought I would put that in there. So currently I am viewing this meeting in gallery view. And you can see that the windows that myself and Adam are being displayed in are next to each other. And currently, because I'm the active speaker, I have a green box around the outside of my window, just to really show that I'm currently speaking. So if Adam was to speak, that box would move to around his window. Now, gallery view, it's a little bit difficult to demonstrate with just two of us on the call, but if you can imagine, if you've got 5, 6, 7 people, everybody will display just side by side in their windows. No one is highlighted, particularly apart from the green box around the outside when they're speaking. Now, there is a different view that you can jump into. So if you hover your mouse over your Zoom window, you'll see in the top right-hand corner, it says Speaker View. So you can switch from gallery view, which we're currently in, across to speaker view, which I'm going to do now to show you the difference. And there we go. So speaker view is a slightly different way of viewing the participants. So you can see now Adam is absolutely huge in my window and I'm very tiny at the top there. And again, this is what will happen if you have more than 2 people on the call. So whoever is speaking will be the largest window in the Zoom window. Okay, so you have those 2 different views just there. Which one you use is entirely up to you. Now I'm going to click the button again to switch back to gallery view, and you will see there that there is a keyboard shortcut, Alt+F2. And there we go, we're back to gallery view. Now another thing that you can do if you want to is that you can pin certain participant windows. So for example, if I hover my mouse over Adam's window, you'll see in the top right hand corner I get a couple of little buttons. So I could unmute Adam if I wanted to. And then I have 3 little dots or an ellipses. Now if I click that, we get a little menu pop out to the right hand side. And one of the options that we have is pin video. So if I pin Adam, it means that he is always going to be in that larger window. He's always going to be showing as the active speaker. So that might be something you want to do if there's just going to be one person speaking the entire way through, and you just want to make sure that if somebody makes a little sound, the window doesn't keep switching between different speakers. Okay, so you have that little option in the top corner. And of course, if you want to unpin, I'm sure you can all see where we're going there. If I hover my mouse over the window, we have an unpin button in the top left-hand corner. Click unpin video, and I can switch back to speaker view, and we're back to how we were. So those are pretty much all of the in-call features that you have. So really feature rich. Now I'm going to jump out of here because we're going to talk about scheduling a meeting next. So I do not need Adam for that, but I just want to thank him very much for participating today. And he's going to log off. I will see you later, Adam.
It was a pleasure. Bye, Deb.
Bye. Bye. So now that Adam's left the meeting, if I want to end this meeting, I have an end meeting button in the bottom right-hand corner, keyboard shortcut Alt+Q. And I'm going to say end meeting for all. And now you can see what it's doing. Because we've got a recording, it's now converting that meeting recording. And as I said, that would be available in Zoom for you to view, for you to send to others after your meeting. Sometimes you do have to give it a few minutes depending on how long your meeting was, because it has to convert it and it also has to load it. Now what you may have noticed there is that it was asking me to select a local drive to save my recording to. And if you are using the free basic version of Zoom, then you will only be able to save your recording locally. However, if you're using one of the paid versions of Zoom, then you have the opportunity to upload that to the cloud. Now, when you jump back to your Zoom dashboard, you'll see you have a tab here for recordings and two separate tabs, cloud recordings and local recordings. So this is where you can come to pick up any videos that you've recorded, and which one you select really depends on the type of account that you have. So just remember that if you're using the free basic account, it's going to ask you to save that file locally. So that's very simply how you start an ad hoc meeting, a meeting on the fly. Now, the other thing that I discussed at the beginning was that you can schedule a new meeting. So you might want to do this for meetings that are a little bit more planned, maybe something that's taking place tomorrow or next week. And again, you can do that from your home screen here in the meetings area. You have a schedule a new meeting button, and you also have a schedule a meeting button in the top right-hand corner. So let's click on schedule a new meeting. And I just need to go through and complete these fields. So I'm going to say sales meeting. Description is optional, and just to save time, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to schedule this for next Tuesday. And we're going to schedule it for 1 p.m. and the duration of the meeting is 1 hour. Now you can see underneath there, because I'm using a free version of Zoom, it's telling me that I have a 40-minute time limit on meetings with 3 or more participants. And as always, you have the option to upgrade. Now, if you have a business package, then you're not going to see this. You can select your time zone. So I'm in London, and that's picked that up correctly. And you can also set this as a recurring meeting. So if you have a sales meeting every Tuesday, you can just select this option and it will schedule it for every single Tuesday. Meeting ID. So this is the ID that's used for the meeting. It's the ID that gets emailed out to your participants. You can choose to generate a new meeting ID automatically, or you can use your personal meeting ID. Now, your personal meeting ID is created when you create your account in Zoom. And this is kind of your personal area, and you can use this for your meetings if you want to. Now, in this case, I'm more than happy just to generate one automatically. If you want people to have to enter in a password when they join, you can enter that in there. I'm going to say no in this case. And you can then choose what you want to happen when yourself as the host or any participants enter the video meeting. So do you want the video to start automatically when people join, or do you want to give them the option to turn their video on or keep it off? Now, in general, I find that a lot of people are a little bit camera shy, so I like to keep this off and let them decide if they want to turn their video on or not. You can choose the option that you want for your audio, so telephone, they can get them to dial in, or utilize computer audio. Now, for the most part, most people are joining meetings from their PC or their laptop, so computer audio is normally the one that's chosen, but I generally just leave this on the default setting of both. And then you have some additional meeting options. So this first one here, you can allow people to join the meeting before you do as the host. If you don't select this option, it means that if people start to join the meeting before you as the host have joined, they'll just kind of sit there at a holding screen and it will just tell them that we're waiting for the host. You can choose to mute all participants upon entry. You can enable a waiting room. So again, that's kind of like a little waiting area that people can go into before the meeting starts. And you can also set it so that all meetings are recorded automatically on your local computer. Now, I'm not going to enable any of these. I'm just going to click on Save. And you can see there is my scheduled meeting. And right at the bottom, if I need to make any changes, I can definitely jump in and click on Edit this meeting. So now if I click back on the meetings option, you can see in upcoming meetings, it's showing me that sales meeting that I've just scheduled. And I can choose to start, I can choose to delete. And you can definitely go through, if you've got quite a lot of meetings in here, if any meetings get cancelled, you can jump into here and you can delete any meeting you choose to. Now again, if you want to invite people to this scheduled meeting, if you click on the meeting to jump into it, you'll see there is the join URL. So again, you can just copy this URL and paste it into chat or maybe send it out in an email, or you can copy the entire invitation via this link and send that to your meeting participants. Now, a third option that's actually really useful is to be able to create Zoom meetings directly from within your calendar. And you can see at the bottom here, it says save time by scheduling your meetings directly from your calendar, and it shows Outlook and also Chrome. So these are little extensions that you need to download, and I've actually already downloaded the one for Chrome because I use Gmail. So let me just show you what that looks like. So I'm going to jump across to my Gmail email account. So I'm now in my Google Calendar, and I'm going to click on the 8th of April. And it's asking me if I want to schedule a new meeting. And what you'll notice is at the bottom, because I did install that Zoom extension for Chrome, I now have an option to make it a Zoom meeting. So I'm going to say strategy planning. I can go through and I can add guests if I want to, but I'm just going to click make it a Zoom meeting. And you can see now on the 8th, it's added that into my calendar. And if I double click on it, you can see it has the link and all of the information required to join that meeting. So if I'd sent that out to everybody who I wanted to come to this meeting, they're going to have all of the relevant information and the links that they need to just quickly jump into that Zoom meeting. So that option is actually really useful and really does save you from having to jump into the Zoom application and set up your meetings. So those are basically all the ways that you can schedule a meeting or create an ad hoc meeting. The other option you have up here is join a meeting. So if you click that, it's going to ask you for the meeting ID or personal link name. Now remember, if you're trying to join a meeting, you will have had some kind of invite from the host, and that email will contain the meeting ID. So you can literally just pop it into this box, click on join, and that's going to jump you into your meeting. Now, a couple of final things I want to highlight to you before we finish up this tutorial. I did talk to you earlier about meeting templates. So if you're somebody who creates a lot of meetings, you can save meetings as a template to make your life a little bit easier and make yourself more efficient. Now, if I go to upcoming meetings, and I'm just going to click on this one here, sales meeting. So this sales meeting, I've adjusted some of the settings and set it up exactly as I want it to be. And you'll see right at the bottom, I have the option to save as a meeting template. So I'm going to leave the template name as sales meeting. I'm going to say save as template. And now if I go back to meetings and click on meeting template, you see I have that template there. So that makes it very simple for me to schedule a meeting using this template. So it means that I don't have to go in again and change the settings. So if you use similar settings the entire time, this can sometimes be quite a nice thing to do. A couple of other things that we have in this left-hand menu, if we click on Profile, that's going to take you to your own personal profile. So it's going to show you your personal meeting ID, the email account you have attached to Zoom, the user type. So as I said, I'm using the basic free version and you have the option to upgrade there. It tells me I can host meetings with up to 100 participants, and then I have my language and my default date and time settings. You'll also find more settings in the settings option. And again, there's quite a few of these in here, so I would recommend that you do go through and you set these to suit how you like to work. So you have settings in here which control meetings, recordings, and also telephone as well. Now, in general, you don't need to fiddle around with these settings too much in order to run a basic meeting, but if you're someone who uses Zoom on a regular basis, you may want to go into here and review those settings. Now, at the beginning of this tutorial, we went through a video and audio checklist, and I asked you to go through and just make sure you have all of your settings set up correctly before you jump into your Zoom meeting. So I just wanted to go through a few tips in case you are having problems with your sound or with your video. So when you're on the call, a couple of little things that you need to check. First of all, right in the bottom left-hand corner, make sure that you're not on mute. So you can see now, as I speak, you can see that green bar moving up and down, which shows that it's registering sound. If yours looks like this, then you have your microphone muted. So make sure that it's not muted first of all. Another thing you can check is if you click this up arrow, you can see here at the top it says select a microphone. Now you can see that I have an external microphone that I have connected. This is my laptop microphone, and the same with speakers here. So speakers, this is my laptop speakers, and then I have my microphone plugged in. So whatever you're using, whether you're using your system audio or whether you're using some kind of headset or microphone, make sure you jump into here and you have the correct one selected. Some further settings you can check. If you go into audio settings, that's going to pop up this lovely little screen just here, and you have two options, video and audio. And in here you can actually test your speakers, and in here in this drop down you want to make sure you select your speakers. So I have my laptop speakers selected at the moment, and you can then click test speaker. You can adjust the volume levels, and if your speakers are working, you will see the output come up and down just here. And you can do exactly the same for your microphone. So again, make sure you have your microphone selected. So that might be an external one that you have plugged in, or you might just be using your PC and your laptop microphone. And if you're having problems, you can click test mic to make sure that everybody else can hear you. And you can see there my input level is going up and down, so it's registering that I am currently speaking. And you have similar settings in here for video as well. So again, you might want to make sure that you have the correct camera selected. So I only have one, and that is my webcam that's inbuilt into my laptop. So Lenovo Easy Camera is selected in there. Remember, if you do have an external webcam plugged in, then it should register and you can pick it up from the drop-down menu. Now, with regards to actually getting yourself connected, those are really the only settings you need to explore. So I'm just going to close this down. Now, if you check all of those settings and you're still having issues, you still can't hear, the only thing I can suggest for you then is maybe log out of Zoom and then log back in again. That good old reboot, log off, log back in again. You would be amazed how many times that does actually fix some of these minor issues. Now I'm going to jump out of here and we will get back to the rest of the course. So that is pretty much it. Of course, there is so much more to this application that we haven't been into, like admin settings, room management, so on and so forth. But really, we wanted this tutorial just to show you very quickly how you can schedule meetings, run ad hoc meetings, join them, do recordings, and all of those in-call options. I know a lot of people are working remotely at the moment with varying degrees of success depending on how familiar you are with video conferencing applications. Hopefully this has provided you with a little bit of useful information. I'm going to finish up now. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next time.